recording too. So, okay. I love that. All right, I'm going to open the webinar, and is Liz back? There she is. There she is.
Oh, with this, you can't, it's like,
you have, yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right, I'm going to start the webinar now too. So we're going to say hi to both Facebook Live. Hi, Facebook Live.
Hi, Facebook.
And we're going to say hi to all the people that are going to start flooding into the room. Yes. I love that. It's like everybody coming in.
Yes. Hey, everybody.
It's like a big party. Everyone's running in.
Welcome. Just a little housekeeping as you guys come in. Oh, look at that. Lots of people coming in. There's a couple ways to watch it. Oh, hi, Jennifer Holstein. Hi. Hi, there's a couple ways. We'd love for you guys to participate. I think with the webinar, you can only watch it in gallery, but so there's two ways. There's one way to ask questions. There's a Q&A. Hi, Susie. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's a little Q&A button. That's where we want you to ask your questions tonight. You certainly can post in the chat, and some people have to say hi, and we love that. Thank you, because we love your questions. So just
and then Facebook too. Remember Facebook? They
yes. Oh, sorry.
Kathy Baker's saying hi. There's a lot of hi.
Hello. Yes, if you are on Facebook, post your question in the comments, and Julie will bring it over to us here in the Q&A. Oh, Sarah Grady is saying congrats. KWH, maybe we'll start calling you that. That's a mouthful. It doesn't really roll off the tongue.
It's actually it's shorter to say Kristy, probably, but I like, but it's a lot faster to type KWH. So
yes, lots of, you should check in on the chat, Kristy. Lots of people.
Carrie, Kristy are saying happy release day to you.
Megan,
your peeps are here. Full. Wow, they're just coming in. Megan here.
So loved. So anyway, this is going to go on. We're going to chat with Kristy for about 30 minutes. And then afterwards, we're going to have a little celebration because this is our year anniversary of couch surfing. And actually we had Kristy on a year ago. So Julie, why don't you tell us a little bit about couch surfing and Warwick's?
Okay, excellent. Well, couch surfing I'll do this at the top of or at the bottom of the hour, half hour when we switch over. But we couldn't do this without you, Liz and Lisa. So thank you both. It was your brainstorm idea. It's been so much fun doing it. So so I'm going to let people know too that I will be not only putting Kristy's book into both of the chats on the webinar and in Facebook, but I'll also put Liz and Lisa's book in there as well. Happy Pub Day, Kristy. It's so great to have you on Pub Day. We love that. So as Liz said, we've been doing couch surfing for a year. It's been so much fun. You can buy books from Warwick's online. So you can click on those links. We are open. So if you're in the San Diego, La Jolla area, we would love to see you. Nothing better than coming in the store and shopping for books at the store. Doing all the protocol for everybody, keeping everybody safe. But wanted to also alert everybody that this weekend is Independent Bookstore Day on Saturday.
Yay.
So yay, independent bookstores. So we love that you support us all year long, but there's a day of celebration on Saturday too. So I'm going to pop off so we can get this conversation going, and then I'll be in the background doing my thing. I'm going to pop on in about a half hour, and also if we've got some of the authors that are joining us who've couch surfed with us this past year, I'll be popping you guys on in about a half hour. So have a great conversation.
Well, great. We've got a great crowd at Kristy. Happy Pub Day. We're so happy you're here. In case you didn't know, I'm Liz Fenton, and I'm here with Lisa Steinke. She's my best friend of over 35 years at this point. And we also have co-authored 7 novels, the most recent being How to Save a Life, which came out in July. And it's a dark, heart-pounding love story, and it has a Groundhog Day twist. You can find out more about it at our Instagram at Lisa and Liz, or at our website, lizandlisa.com. But we're here today to talk about Kristy. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about her.
Well, happy Pub Day, Kristy. So excited to have you here.
Yay! Perfect. To you guys. I'm so excited that it's the 1 year. And I was here like April 28th last year or something. So wow, I can't believe it's been a year.
I know, it's crazy.
Full circle. So crazy. Well, I'm happy we're having you back again to talk about your next book, which is out today. And I'm going to read a little bit about you. Kristy Woodson Harvey is the best-selling author of Dear Carolina, Lies and Other Acts of Love, Slightly South of Simple, The Secret to Southern Charm, The Southern Side of Paradise, and Feels Like Falling. And then this one that just came out today. And her writing has appeared in numerous publications and websites, including Southern Living, Traditional Home, Parade, USA Today, Domino, Our State and O, Henry. She has been seen in Today.com, Women's Health, The Washington Post, U.S. News and World Report, The Huffington Post, Marie Claire's The Fix, Women's World, Reader's Digest, Bustle, New York Live, and North Carolina Book Watch, among others. I mean, could you do anything with your life already? I mean, get on it, girl. She lives in North Carolina with her husband.
This is great. I'm just gonna go after this.
This is amazing. I mean, you live in North Carolina with your husband and your son, and you're working on another novel, apparently.
I didn't even list the whole bio because I knew we only had 30 minutes, but there's more. You've actually done more, and I edited it out because I was like, we gotta ask you questions. So
all right, so Liz is going to ask you the questions now.
Right.
But wow, there's a lot to ask just about that whole thing, but I guess we have to move
We can just talk about our bio for 30 minutes. So Under the Southern Sky is getting a ton of praise. Lisa Wingate, who is also a past couch surfing guest, had this to say about it. Sometimes the key to new love lies hidden in old friendships. Under the Southern Sky, Kristy, Woodson, Harvey stirs up a warm-hearted mix of hometown charm and the sort of thoroughly modern problems that bring us back to the people who know us best and the places that remind us of who we really are. It's high praise from just a wonderful author. So tell us what it's about.
First of all, that is such a nice quote. Lisa's the best. I mean, you know, she makes everything sound wonderful. So, I mean, I think really we should just leave it at her. No, I'm just kidding. Under the Southern Sky is actually a book that I got the idea for like 5 or 6 years ago. So it's something that I've been thinking about for a long time and kind of working on subconsciously, I think, for a long time. But it's about an investigative journalist named Amelia who's working on a story about what people do with their leftover frozen embryos after they, you know, have done IVF treatments and completed their families. And she's doing some snooping at a doctor's office while she's waiting for an interview. And she accidentally comes across a list of abandoned embryos, meaning no one's paying for their storage and their fate is kind of up in the air. And she sees a name that she recognizes on that list. And that is the name of her childhood friend, Parker, and his late wife, Greer. And she knows right away that he does not know about this, and that if he did, this would not be the situation. And she knows she's going to have to tell him that, you know, this is the situation and that he's going to have to make a decision about what to do with what is the last remaining part of this woman that he loved so much. So we get to hear from both Amelia and Parker as they're, you know, working through the situation in the story. We also get to hear from Greer, who is Parker's late wife, through her journal entries, and then Elizabeth, who is Amelia's good Southern meddling mama, who is all up in her business, telling her what to do. And each of these characters has a secret, and as the secrets are revealed, what ultimately happens to these embryos ends up coming to light.
Wow, that sounds awesome. What inspired this story?
So I actually had a friend who came to me a few years ago, and she and her husband had just had their babies, and they were trying to figure out what they were going to do with their leftover frozen embryos. And she was just very upset about it because I think what people, and I don't even want to say people, but I think maybe what even I didn't really understand before I set out to write this book is that, and I won't say everyone, but I do think people get very attached to these embryos because they are, you know, sort of their future family, their life that could be and maybe will be. And I didn't really fully understand that. And so when she was telling me this story and she said, you know, I think a lot of people are going to be going through this, and I think that you should write a book about it. And I immediately knew that I would, but I didn't know what or when or what exactly that would look like. But it was just something that I knew I wanted to explore further.
Yeah, I think it's something that is very timely, and a lot of people definitely relate to. You always have such great covers, and gosh darn it, there we go.
You have that weird thing.
I got it. I know. I have to do it this way. I think people really, and I find it interesting at different publishers. Like, walk us through what that cover. What that looks like. Like, did they send you several? Did you reject some? Was it love at first sight, or what was that like?
So they sent me a bunch, and they were all pretty. Like there was no, they were all, but it was just, none of them were like it, how you feel that like, oh yes, this is the cover. And actually, so Feels Like Falling came out in 2020. The book before that, 2019, was called The Southern Side of Paradise. And they just hit it out of the park with The Southern Side of Paradise. I mean, there were like 10 covers that I was like, this is a beautiful cover. And so I had actually saved all of them on files because I was like, maybe one day I'll use one of these covers. And so I actually went back to that file, and this was one of the covers. It wasn't exactly this, like there was no girl on the porch, and the font was different, and there were some different things, but this image, this cover image of like the house and the water, and I thought it really fit with the story really well. And so I sent it back to them and was like, what could we do with this? And they, did a lot of different things to it. And I thought it was really pretty, but I mean, you guys know how it is. They might all be pretty, but sometimes it's just not exactly what you envisioned as like the thing that's going to represent this story. So sometimes it takes a little while to get it exactly right, but I think we were all really happy with it in the end, and kind of ended up with something that everybody could be proud of, and that I could, look at for a year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right. Well, I think we were saying this last time, I think with Donna Freitas, that like the two biggest emails, like as an author, that it's really hard to open up the attachments emotionally, are your covers, and then also your first developmental edit letter. Like, I feel like those two, like when I'm clicking, I'm like,
a little bit.
I don't know how I'm going to feel in 5 minutes.
Right.
I feel okay right now, but.
And it's just a total gamble. I mean, sometimes you open that cover email and you're like, oh, yes, like that's it. And then sometimes you open it and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny how
your
different.
agent.
Right. Right.
Yeah. You have to call your agent. This cannot be my cover.
Yeah.
Call someone. This cannot be my cover.
Totally. I think we've all been on both sides of that attachment opening.
For sure.
But luckily we've worked it out. We've got great covers. And you mentioned the title, and obviously you write Southern fiction. So tell us about coming up with the title. Was it always the title? Did you know it right away when you came up with the concept, or something that you chose later?
Yeah. I want to say that this is like a really poignant story that will like bring a tear to your eye, but it's not. I just started writing this book, and I was actually at spin class, back when that was normal and we were at spin class. And I was like really in the zone on a ride, and this phrase just like popped into my head, Under the Southern Sky. And I was like, oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's the title of the book I'm working on. And so I tried to really work that title into the story at some point. And so it actually is kind of near the end where you actually finally are like, oh, there's where the title came from. But it was always the title. And I was actually kind of surprised because, as you guys know, sometimes we have a title and everybody doesn't like the title, or some people like the title and other people don't like the title. So it's always a big, I always try not to get too attached to titles, because I just never know if somebody's going to like them or not. And I think this one was like kind of a crowd pleaser. I think everyone was sort of like, yeah, I think that should be the title. So I think it works, and I don't know. I like it. I think it really fits the story, and I'm glad we stuck with it.
No, it's a really good sorry, one of my dogs is breathing really heavy behind me. It's not me.
Like, oh, I can't hear it. I can't hear it.
Oh, we can't hear it.
He's like breathing like really heavy. But anyway, he's just stop breathing heavy.
Oh my God. So cute.
Maybe he'll stop now. Yeah, I mean, and I love it. I think it's very on brand. Everything's very on brand. The title, the cover, very on brand for you. And I think that's one thing that you do really well, is marketing yourself and creating this brand of who you are. And I want to kind of switch gears a little bit. And it's not about books, but I think it's really interesting because you have this whole other like double life as with design. And when you do your mom, and I know we talked about it last year, but I find it really fascinating. And you have this huge following on Instagram. And tell us a little bit about that. And you do a really good job of blending it into your writing.
Oh, thank you. That's really nice of you to say. Because I don't know. I mean, I should say like, oh yes, it's all part of the plan that they like mix together. But really, I was like, I just can't have two Instagrams. Like, there were two Facebooks and there were two Twitters, and then, Instagram was starting to be a thing. And I was like, oh gosh, we have to do another thing. Like, I can't do two of those. So I guess I assume that if people don't want to hear about my book, they'll just scroll by. And if they don't want to see the house for the day, they'll just scroll by or, whatever. So that's what I hope. But yeah, I mean, Mom and I started the blog like 11 years ago, and it was a really good time to start a blog because it was, they were popular, but they weren't, the market was not completely flooded with them. So
Right.
it was really good timing. We had no idea because we didn't really know what we were doing. We were planning on doing it for 6 months. And then we kept going, and it was really something that kind of kept us connected and was inspiring in a different way. And actually, I mean, I guess we started the blog in 2010 and my first book didn't come out until 2015. So
Right.
the blog was actually long before, and I never really thought about, well, that's not true. I thought a lot about like, how do I like implement these two things? And I don't know. I mean, in Peachtree Bluff, I have an interior designer who's a main character. And so that was kind of like a good connection. And I think it kind of blended the two audiences really well. But I do think that, I mean, people are multifaceted. They don't just like one thing. So
Right.
and it is funny because every now and then, like, and I'll have a note, and something like, not everyone wants to hear every detail of the house or, whatever it is.
But thank you. I love your design pictures you put on Instagram. I love
Oh
them.
no,
And you mean in your stories though, right?
Stories.
I mean,
in your books.
I want them there too. I don't care.
I want them in your books too.
Well, thanks.
So
All
it's
right.
okay.
I'll just write back and I'll say Lisa and Liz say that they like it.
Tell your editor, like, write
And
it
she
back
can
in
talk
the-
about all 20 columns if she
Yeah,
wants.
that's right.
All of them.
In detail. I mean,
Yeah.
Victor Hugo could do it. I could do it, right?
We had a blog around that same time. We were just blogging about life. My kids were really little. I want to say it's almost the exact same time frame, and it was before.
Yeah.
It was about 5 or 6 years before we got our first book deal. It's
Yeah,
funny as you're talking about it. I looked at
we
Lisa.
started ours in
Now I'm looking at
2009.
her. Yeah, and where we blogged a lot before my.
Well, and I think, I think one thing, I think it's one of those things you're like, oh, let's start a blog. And it's like everything else, like you don't think it's going to be a big deal. And then it's a job. I mean, it's another
Right.
job that you're doing.
It is.
But I think, for me, and I'm sure you guys would agree with this, and maybe even more so from your point of view and like what you were writing about. But I think just having any kind of audience going into writing your first book was a little bit of a comfort, even if the crossover wasn't exact, even if it was just nice to be like, okay, well, if I post this, like there will be some human beings whose eyes see it.
Yeah, I think it also too, it gets you ready for putting yourself out there in a way that's personal, even if you're writing fiction and having people's reactions and reacting to that. And I think it was a good way to transition into that, putting yourself out there publicly.
Well, and it's nice to have like a support system too, because then when someone says something like rude, you can be like, oh my God, did you see that comment that so-and-so left? That was so ridiculous. So it is kind of nice to have like a partner in that. So you're like, whatever. It's
Absolutely. I think it's really important. I think I think that's one of the reasons we have like a pretty thick skin with all that stuff, because there's two of us. So
one of my favorite things that I've ever done is the video for you guys about like my favorite 1-star review.
Those were fun. We just did one for Mighty Blaze. They did one and we were in it.
I love that so much because it really does. It like takes the sting out of it a little bit when you have like your friends laughing with you about it, because we all know. I mean, it is kind of a unique thing. I mean, I think it's easy for people on the outside to be like, well, who cares what like some rando on the internet says about you, but like you do,
right.
You really do. It's hurtful. And so to be able to like remove the sting of that is really great.
Mention what the Instagram account is, Kristy.
Oh, it's at Kristy W. Harvey. So it's my name, but just a W, no Woodson.
Yeah, that's lots of really awesome houses. Now, speaking of side hustles, and we were talking about this a little bit in the green room, like how some people just like go all the time. You're definitely one of those people in a very good way. Around the time we were starting couch surfing, you and some of our writer friends and your writer friends were starting Friends in Fiction. Very popular group of authors, podcasts, Zooms. Tell us a little bit about that, and then how it's just affected you in general or helped you or. what it's done
Yeah,
for you.
it's been great. And I think, is like what you guys were doing with this. I mean, it was so incredible. I mean, I remember seeing you guys doing this and being like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Like some of my friends are doing something and like, maybe I can still sell a book. Like it was a very vulnerable time, I think, for all of us. And so Friends in Fiction is a Facebook Live like web show that airs at 7:00 on Wednesday nights. And it's with Mary Kay Andrews and Kristen Harmel, Patty Callahan Henry, Mary Alice Monroe, and me. And then special guests on most weeks. Sometimes it's just us, but it's mostly with a special guest author on or two. And so it's been really great. We started it just sort of on a whim and thought, oh, hey, like we were all complaining about having book launches and not knowing what to do. And then thinking, what are these independent bookstores going to do? So again, I think along the very similar lines to you guys. And we were like, oh, you know what, let's just get together on Facebook and we'll talk and we'll encourage people to buy our books from independent bookstores when they come out. And that'll kind of be that. And we were just really surprised at the response that we got from people who, it was certainly a timing thing. It was kind of like the blog. I mean, it was the right place at the right time. It was a pandemic. People were at home. Everyone was feeling kind of vulnerable and lost and sad. And we could get together for, an hour and laugh and have a good time. And we started, getting emails from people like, please keep doing this. And so we decided that we would do it for 7 weeks, because by then all of our books would be out and certainly this pandemic would be over, as we were discussing backstage. And of course, the pandemic was not over. And by then, it had really grown into something that we felt like was really special. We felt a real connection with the members of the group, the authors, but also the readers. We just really felt like this is a group of people that, we kind of want to continue to be with and to hang out with and to continue to grow with. And so it was really fun for us. And so we've just kept going. We just had, just like you guys, we had our 1-year anniversary like last week. And we were just in shock. I mean, it was really amazing. I was actually in person with Patty and Mary Kay. Patty and I were doing an event together at Palmetto Bluff, and then Mary Kay came. So just to get to be in person together was really fun and neat. And yeah, I mean, you just never know. I mean, it's just one of those things that I think we all have this in common, that you want to keep growing. You want to keep doing what you can do. And so sometimes that requires, sometimes these things pan out really well and sometimes they totally flop. And most of the time we just don't know what's going to happen. So we just have to kind of go for it and see what happens. And this is one of those risks that kind of paid off and has turned out really well. And I don't think any of us can predict what will happen as the world starts to open up. Will people still want to tune in? I mean, I hope so, but we're just kind of, we're taking it, I won't say week by week because we're booked out for a while, but we're definitely, we're open to hanging in there with everybody as long as they want to hang in there with us, I guess.
Right. And you guys worked really hard at it too. I mean, that needs to be said. I mean, I think it's a lot of hard work. And you guys did a really nice job. Lisa, I think there are a couple questions.
Yeah, we have one that was actually emailed in before the program from Kristen K. And she's asking, what or who influenced you to become a writer?
That is such a great question. And I think that if I had to pinpoint one thing, it's just being such an avid reader, especially when I was little. And my mom will talk about, she'll tell stories about how, she would read to me forever and ever. And I would just always say, one more story, no matter how many stories she read, no matter how long it was, I wanted one more. And so even from the time I was very, very small, and then as soon as I learned to read, it was like, this magical thing that had happened to me because I could, be lost in these worlds myself. So I don't know that there was one thing in particular, but I do know, I have a degree in journalism and I have a master's in English. And so I had done a lot of like studying along those lines. But I never wanted to write a novel. That just was not something really on my radar. And all of a sudden I just started getting these story ideas, and I knew one of them in particular, I knew it was a book. I just knew it was, but I didn't know that I could write a book. I didn't think that I could write a book. I thought, who can write a book? Not me. I don't even know anybody that's ever written a book. So It just seemed like a really big, far off thing, but it was a time in my life where, there was a lot going on, but I didn't have kids yet. And so my husband and I were kind of newly married, and I was working in a totally different field. I was working in finance. And so like at nights and on the weekends, I would work on this little project just kind of on the side, and actually ended up, writing a manuscript, and then wrote a couple more, and then, ended up finally getting one published. So it was one of those things that I just didn't really predict necessarily. But I think once I started doing it, I was like, oh, this isn't very good, but I love it. And I think that I could keep getting better at it. And I think that's the thing, right? I mean, none of us, I don't think any of us like sit down there. I'm sure there's some people that do. I did not sit down and immediately like, oh my gosh, this is great. It's like, it's going to be it was like, oh, this isn't very good, but it was really fun and I'm going to keep doing it. So I don't even know if that was an answer to the question, but I just think reading in general, and I had some really great teachers that always, encouraged me along the way and told me that this was something that I should really pursue and look into, which at the time didn't mean anything to me. But then later when I was trying to kind of take this leap, looking back and remembering that really did give me confidence.
Great.
We have another one from Nancy Wiseman that's similar, but I'm going to ask it anyway because you can think of something maybe more in the present.
Yeah.
She's asking just what inspires you?
Oh, that's such a good question.
In general. So
many things. And I think living on the water has been really inspiring for me. That's been great. And like moving to this like really small town where everything is like, just, I don't know, it feels sort of like, sometimes I'm like, oh, we're in a Hallmark movie today. Like, it's just really funny, like all the little traditions and the little things that happen. I find that really inspiring. And I think just growing up in like small towns and having those relationships and knowing people on that kind of basis is really, but I think just, I get my best ideas when I have like quiet moments, which is almost never. So, if I'm ever actually like just truly unplugged and like away for a minute, it's like the ideas just flood in. And it's incredible how if I ever feel stuck on something, it really, if I'm just like, okay, just go outside and take a walk. It's like, it just works itself out. Like taking a shower at night and being like, oh, duh, there it is. It really is. I do think that it's hard for all of us because we do have so many facets to our job where we are really working on, the marketing piece. And we have a lot of other, you guys got the podcast and the show, and I've got the blog and the Friends of Fiction. And there are a lot of other things we have going on in our lives, but for our writing to be able to just have those moments where we're like quiet, they're so important. And I know I don't do that enough. And I'm sure that my writing would improve if I had a little more of that. And
oh, please.
So maybe one day I'll make some time.
You're doing just fine.
Yeah, you are. I have an idea. So there's a couple more questions, but we're almost ready to move on. So let's do it like a flash round.
I love it. Okay.
Lisa's going to ask you the question and you're just going to answer, and then we're going to ask the next question so everybody can get their question.
Okay.
Lisa, there's one
good idea
too that
I've got him. Anissa Armstrong wants to know what's your favorite part of the writing process, writing, editing, or researching?
Writing, hands down, for sure.
Okay. Yamil is asking, do you have a guilty pleasure book, magazine, or genre of books?
I'm a big time magazine junkie. Like I get them all. I don't think there's any like guilty pleasure reading. I love all books and I think they're all great and have their merit and they all inspire me in different ways.
Okay. Sarah Grady wants to know what's up next, historical fiction, more beach reads, please.
So next,
she's answering for you.
She answered. Next is Christmas in Peachtree Bluff. It's the 4th book in my Peachtree Bluff series, and it comes out October 26th, and it's super fun. And you don't have to have read the rest of the series to just pick it up and be like, yay, Christmassy escape.
And Christine Mott is saying, I just ordered Dear Carolina and the rest of the series. Loved, feels like falling, and started Under the Southern Sky. You are so genuine. We love F and F.
Well, thank you.
Very sweet. Very sweet. Did I get, one more. Doris is asking, how did you come up with Amelia and Parker's names?
I don't know. So Parker just popped into my head. Amelia was originally Eaton. I know that's terrible. I don't know. I really don't. He was Parker. I'm not really sure.
I always go to babies.com
Yeah, no, I do that too.
baby
I
names.com,
definitely, I do
yeah.
that a lot. I like the baby name book and whatever, but and like
Right.
online. But Parker just was Parker. I just always liked his name. Amelia was originally Keaton, but I had Parker, Keaton, and Greer, and my editor told me that I had too many gender neutral names and then I needed to change one. So I changed into Amelia because I love that name. And although funnily enough, now I have a niece named Amelia. So I'm like, sorry, like I named my character after your baby, but it was an accident. And although they're spelled differently. There
you go.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's it. I love the name Amelia. I think it's absolutely beautiful and really sweet and Southern, but I loved the name Keaton, and it's actually hard for me to like think of this character as Amelia. I always want to say Keaton.
We had that once in our very first book, and it was a Reagan, and we didn't end up using it. And I forget why we couldn't have it, but I still think.
Well, Reagan and Keaton are going to get together and they're going to have their story.
Yeah.
Yes,
One day.
they are.
All right, Julie, you want to show us your beautiful face again? So we're going to switch over here in a second, but first, Kristy, I just wanted to say, I'm so excited. For those, Kristy, we met you right before your debut came out in New York, several years ago at BEA. Remember that? And we just loved you from like the minute we met you. And I think it's totally appropriate that you're here celebrating with us today. So we wish you so much success, with this book, and you don't even need luck because you work so hard. I know that this book's going to soar. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. You've really like just been there for me. I mean, from the beginning, but especially during this really crazy year. I'm so appreciative of how you've just stepped up and helped me launch my last 2 books. And thank you, Julie, because you have too. And I'm really, really grateful.
This was fun. So much fun. And speaking of Lisa Wingate, so we're going to start bringing on, there's some authors that are in the waiting room that we're going to pop onto the screen to help us celebrate a year of couch surfing. I love that Lisa Wingate who gave you the blurb. She was actually our first couch surfing on April 9th of last year. So hello to Lisa if you are watching. So here comes, so be ready, authors. You're going to come on screen now. So here comes Susie Orman-Schall. Here comes Susan.
It's like the red carpet. Here they come.
Here they come. I'm going to try to get everybody. Here comes
Here. Cute.
Hi, Kristy.
Hi.
And then we've got Hank Philippes coming on.
Oh, yay.
Let's see. Okay, this is going to take me a little minute. Martha, did I get you? I didn't get you, Martha, not yet. Hold on. There we go. There we go.
Donna, do you see Donna in there?
Yeah, I should have made you a co-host so that you could.
Fine. She's coming for you, Donna.
Okay.
Oh, there's Martha. Long time no see.
Hi.
No, right?
Here comes Hank. And I think you mentioned Donna earlier, Liz. So here comes Donna.
Yep.
Been a couple weeks for Donna. Oh, hi, everybody.
So exciting. Oh my God, I should take it. Lisa, you should, once everyone's on, you know how to do this.
I will. I'll
the
do
screenshot. Yeah. I just want to make
do.
sure that I have it. Oh, here comes Kara. Here's Kara Wall.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to keep
It's like a blast from the past.
I know. So first, I'm going to keep popping people on. Here's Kristy Clancy. Let's get Kristy in. Let's see. Oh, this is so fun. I thank you guys all for coming and doing this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This has really been fun. Let's see. Hold on. Mary, I'm not sure. I think I got you on the wrong. Sorry about that, Mary. I'm going to pop you back.
Mary can't. She's
I was like,
the audio.
I remember that one, but I have a bad memory, so I don't know.
Where did Kristy Clancy go?
Either.
She's down there.
I see the box with her name.
You need to grab Sarah Ackerman. Make sure you grab her too. She's in there.
Thank you. There she is. If you see anybody else
sitting in the waiting room, type a chat. So I told Julie to grab you.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's see if there's anybody else that I'm missing.
Christina Clancy is still in there. You need to go get her.
She is saying she help me. Help me. I hope I'm in the right place. You've got to get her in.
She's banging on the door.
I know. I don't see her name
Let me
anymore.
in. I have a ticket. I swear.
Do you see her box though, Lisa? Maybe she doesn't have her.
I did. I
Oh,
do. Yeah.
I see your box, but you don't have a, you're not.
Your camera's not on.
Help.
I like the help, distress.
I don't know how to help you. Turn your camera on.
You know you're in. I think you just need to turn your camera on, girl. You can do it.
Let me see
If not, go out and come back in and Julie will
Wait a
grab you.
minute. I don't know what happened to me just now. I just knocked myself out.
You're here. You're still,
You're
everyone
here. We
can
see you.
You're here.
She's
Okay,
giving
there
up
we go.
hope. Don't give up hope, Kristy.
Don't give up
You
hope,
can do
Kristy.
it.
We're going to get you on here.
She says, save yourselves.
So it was really funny in Facebook though. So Kristy, somebody had put that they were so excited that they were wondering, I think your mom actually might be on here or was on here.
Oh yeah, she was.
And so somebody on Facebook was saying, oh, do we get to see your mom today?
Well, let's go ahead and get started. Julie, you wanna take us? Take it away?
So Kristy, I'll work on getting you on here. So I just want to thank every single one of you that are on the screen with us, and for everybody that I will hopefully be bringing on in a little bit. Boy, I'm actually getting a little teary. It's been quite a year, and for all of you to like take the time to come back and do this with us. I think I'm getting a feedback from somebody. I'm not sure who, but sorry about that. But to take the time to come back and celebrate with us for a year. What a year we've all had. You all have entertained us. You all have brought us something that, what books do. And we celebrate you and we celebrate your success and helping us make 2020 a great year. So for what it could be. So thank you. And thank you, Liz and Lisa. Liz and Lisa came up with this idea and kind of pushed, because I was like, what do you do? What's help me. I don't know what virtual, what are you guys talking about? And they kind of pushed us into this virtual world, and we are so thankful that you did. And look at all the wonderful authors that we've
Kim Marie's also asking to get in.
Okay, I'll go let her in. I'll stop talking. You guys chat and tell us what's going on. So love you all. Thank you for being here with us.
And Amy
Meyerson
is in there too. Anybody else?
But you can come back and cry a little bit at the end. Come back at the end and you can cry and do your whole thing.
I don't do that.
While you do that, Julie, I this really like saved us. It was something we were talking with our agent and just talking about all these book launches that were going awry. And we were like, God, we should do something about it. And then of course, the first bookstore we thought of was Warwick's, just such an amazing bookstore. And we knew Julie, like we were friends, but now we know Julie, like we've been in the green room for 20 minutes for every
Green Room Julie's a lot of fun. Not to say you're not fun here, Julie, but Green Room Julie, I want to have some drinks with her.
You get some real dirt from Green Room.
Yeah, Green Room Julie is a lot of fun. So thank you so much. I just feel like you've been such a champion for authors during this time, and I think I speak for everybody when I say thank you. And Warwick's is having its own hard time in the pandemic, but you guys have spent so much time and investment in us, and so thank you so much. And I think what we're going to do now is we want to hear what you guys are up to. And we've got a pretty good group. We've got several people here, and then we've got people watching on Facebook. So, let us know what you've been up to, what you're working on. And we're really excited you're all here. So Susie, why don't we start with you?
Okay, hi. Thank you so much for having me and for all that you did to support all of us over this year, which was such a crazy year. And Julie, you too. So thank you. And I'll leave it at that and keep it short because there's a lot of us. But it's so amazing to see all these beautiful author faces. So hi, everybody. So what am I up to? It's almost a year since my summer book, We Came Here to Shine, came out, which is about the 1939 New York World's Fair, historical fiction. And what I've been up to is it got optioned for film, and the production company asked me to write the screenplay. So that is what I've been working on. And at the same time, the idea that I had for my next book, I decided to write as a pilot for a 1-hour drama series. So I did that. And what's really interesting about the whole thing is that the next idea I had for my next book, I worked on all the plotting and all that, and I started writing it. And I think I'm ruined forever for books because scripts are so short and you don't have to talk about everything they feel and think and see and hear. And when I started to try and write another novel, I just couldn't do it. So I think I'm going to take the new idea and also write that as a pilot. So we'll see. And who knows, you hear two things, that all of these streamers are looking for content, and then you hear that absolutely nothing can get made. So whatever it is, I'm enjoying the process and just wanted to thank you guys all for everything you've done. And congrats to Kristy today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, thank you, Susie. I appreciate it. And that sounds so exciting.
I know, super exciting.
Susan, what? Yeah, and that's very excited. I actually was getting so excited when you're talking. I'm like, yay. Susan, tell us what you've been up to. You're on mute. Unmute, girl. There you go. There
Hi
you go.
there. Well, thank you for inviting me on. When my book tour started last fall, your show was the highlight for me. I was so excited. So here's the Palm Beach scandal. Remember, I came, written under my pen name, Susanna Marin, and it follows the Palm Beach wife, and I'm working on the third in the trilogy. And adjusting to COVID life, although things are a little better. And I agree with what Susie said, that writing a screenplay is totally different and much lighter.
That's awesome. Well, we're happy. We really enjoyed talking to you. We're so happy you're back. Now, Martha, I know it's been about 5 days since we spoke with you, but what have you been up to since then?
I know, gosh, you guys look so different than you did 1 week ago today.
Don't we?
So I am currently on deadline for my third book, To Marry and to Meddle. So it's due in 10 days. So I'm currently spending every waking moment working on that and trying not to panic too much about it. So yeah, I am busily writing my third Regency rom-com, which comes out next year sometime.
Yeah, that was pretty funny when we hosted you last week. It was just like, well, you better think of something because we're going to go around the room.
I know. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to have to report in 1 week, but I'll do my best.
I know, but it's still good to see you.
It's
So
good to
he's
see you
trying
guys
to tell me how
too.
to do a screenshot. I really want to take a screenshot of you guys.
I know, and my image, okay, so now I'm just gonna say it. My image capture won't work, but if you go to the little rocket at the bottom, you're just gonna do it with your phone?
I don't have a rocket. I'm just gonna
Yes, you
Do
do.
it. I can do it and email it to you guys if you want.
Yes, can you?
Yeah, can someone do it? Because my rocket's broken over
Okay,
here.
everyone
Everybody
smile.
smile.
Camera.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Everybody smile.
Oh, shoot.
This is like a
Yeah, I'm not doing it right.
I can do a screenshot later from the recording, I think.
Fine. Smile, everybody. I'm going to-
I just did it. Okay, look
Fine.
over
Oh,
to the
good.
camera.
Okay.
1,
Okay.
2, 3.
All right.
All right, I'll send that around
Okay.
to you guys.
right.
Awesome.
Hank, tell us what's up. I know you had your own anniversary with First Chapter Fun recently.
Well, it was so funny when I saw Hannah McKinnon come on at the bottom. I thought, wait, that's not Hannah McKinnon. I talk to her every day. Hannah Mary McKinnon.
Hannah
My
Mary.
partner.
Yeah, we had this
McKinnon.
issue last, yeah, we talked to Hannah McKinnon about this last year.
Well,
Yes, we did.
I've never, first of all, the thing about the pandemic is interesting that Hannah Mary McKinnon, and forgive me, Hannah, because you, Hannah, down at the bottom of my screen, when you came on, my brain just collapsed. And I knew you existed, and Hannah Mary McKinnon and I have talked about you, how funny that is, how wonderful you are,
Yes.
all these kinds of things. But I've never seen you. And so I thought, is somebody else at Hannah's house? Of course, I was looking for the most complicated answer for why it wasn't the Hannah that it should be for me. Is somebody else at Hannah's house? Is this a joke? Is she trying to see if we're going to recognize that it's not really Hannah? And then I thought, Hank, it's not Hannah Mary McKinnon. It's another person. It's the other Hannah.
It's
So
been
this
a
is-
long year.
It has been a long year.
Those are a lot of crazy explanations you went through.
Well, see, isn't that a
Writers.
writer's mind? That's
That's
a
a writer.
Right.
Yeah.
Thinking of I'd rather have it be an imposter, a joke, a surprise, a mystery, than have it be, yeah, it's just another person with the same name. So too easy. But you're right. I have, we were talking earlier about the pandemic and how our lives have changed as a result of that. And Hannah, Mary McKinnon, and I now do First Chapter Fun every Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30 p.m., reading the first chapter of a new book out loud on Instagram and Facebook. And that has been not only made us the world's best experts on what a good first chapter is, because we've read hundreds of them now, right? And that's something to talk about. But also has introduced us to people who we would never have met before. You know, we wouldn't know you, we wouldn't know you all, we wouldn't be able to talk with you all. The horrible pandemic, and I agree with whoever said that there seems to be, Susie, maybe a little light at the end. And there are some things that we don't want to give up. Liz and Lisa, your show and Friends in Fiction, Kristy, which is so wonderful. Those doors that those shows have opened for all of us have been quite amazing. When I came on with you two, I was just launching The First to Lie, if you remember, which is now nominated for the Mary Higgins Clark Award.
Congratulations. Yay.
Thank you. So I have 2 more weeks to be a nominee and not a loser. Because that's really, the other books are wonderful that are nominated. So, and I've spent not as glamorous a time as Susie has. I've just spent most of my time writing my new book, which is, you want to see the cover?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Can you?
Really out yet. This is not even an arc. This is the pre-arc. I'm showing it to you here.
Is this a cover reveal?
Ooh.
It is a cover reveal.
Whoa.
Nice.
This is the precious
Very nice.
for perfect life.
Awesome.
Hi, Kristy. Kristy's
Kristy's gotta go.
Thank y'all.
Kristy,
Y'all are amazing. I didn't want to interrupt you, Hank, but I just wanted to say bye. Y'all are amazing. And I wish I could stay, but I love y'all.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to y'all. Happy 1 year. Bye.
Bye.
Hank, your cover is beautiful.
Love that cover.
Yes.
Isn't it sort of girl with a pearl earring vibe?
Oh, it's really good.
Yes.
It's good stuff,
So
girl.
we'll talk about it. But anyway, congratulations on your birthday anniversary, your success, your joys, how much you've brought us all together. It has really made a difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Hank, when's that coming out? When can we look for that?
As if you would ask, it is September the 14th.
Well,
So,
I'm thinking that we're going to probably either
that's
be
our
in
mom's
some kind
birthday.
There you go.
I did it for your mom's birthday.
Both of our
Liz
moms.
and our moms have the same birthday.
Yes,
Liz
it's
and-
my
mom's
all these
birthday,
weird.
too.
No way.
Wait, who's?
Kristy.
Birthday also.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
September
Okay.
the 14th, we'll all have a party for the
Yeah.
book and for all of them.
That's crazy.
All of it. Do all the
Those
things.
Virgos.
Thanks for being here, Hank.
Oh my goodness, thank
And
you.
Hank, someone, I was just reading, oh no, I lost it. Oh, Brenda was saying she went through all the Hannah scenarios as well, Brenda, who's watching. So
Thank
you're
you.
not alone.
I
And
mean-
that's what makes you a good mystery writer is what she said, so.
Thank you.
Well,
I'm very reassured that my brain isn't just fried after all this.
I think all of our brains are fried at this
All of
point in the pandemic. But well, we have someone else who we've just gotten to know recently that we're so excited they could join us. Donna, hello. Tell us what you've been up to in the last 2 weeks. We're done.
Yeah, exactly. I think Donna, we had just like 2 weeks. So Martha, you had a week. Donna, you had 2 weeks.
Donna, yours better be good because you've had 14 days, girl.
Oh my, well, I'm excited just to see you, Lisa, because I didn't get to meet you when I did my event. I think you were on a
I
plane.
know. I
So-
know. I'm sorry about that.
It's wonderful to get to see you, you know, in the flesh, like on Zoom, and so nice to see you again, Liz, and you, Julie. So I did. By the way, I probably shouldn't say this, but I did so many events for my book launch, and everybody loved the Warwick's one and the couch surfing one. So
Yay, thank you.
anyway. But it's so nice to see you all. Thank you for having me. And I kind of like, it's wonderful to see all these other exciting authors who I love. I kind of can't believe I'm on the same screen with you all right now. And so that feels really exciting. Mostly I'm just, as I'm sure you are, Martha, kind of in the thick of the ups and downs of having a book come out in a pandemic. And it's my debut novel for adults. Oh, this is it. I have it. It's very pretty. You guys mentioned in Kristy's event, we were talking about when I got my cover and I opened the document and I squealed with joy. But but yeah, it's been a little lonely behind my laptop, and I'm just looking forward to maybe getting to do events like this in person someday and actually having cocktail conversations with people like all of you. So yeah. So I'm excited.
Can you say, Donna, can you say the name of your book again so everybody watching can hear?
The 9 Lives of Rose Napolitano. So
Very cool.
In rave reviews.
Yep.
Yeah, the cover. Susie said the cover. The
Cover's
good.
Well, thank you for being here. Kara, it's been a while since we've seen you. I'm actually very curious as to what you're up to, and it's great to see your face.
You guys too. I know I was sort of in the middle. I think it was July or August, right in the middle of the pandemic. Yeah. Well, I'm working on my second book. It's about, this is my first book, just, The Dearly Beloved, for those of you watching. But I have a new book supposedly coming out in September of 22. But I am also panicking a little bit and trying to get it done. But it's about a painting that gets left on the steps of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And it's all about the people who are trying to figure out what the painting is. And then the people in the past who sometimes have the painting, and then about the painting itself. So I've just been doing a ton of research there. And part of my research, so everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm sure you're at a library. I'm like, actually, I'm watching Netflix. I'm watching Fake or Fortune. If you guys haven't seen that.
Or This Is a Robbery. It's kind of about the art theft. I just started that one.
I read a whole book about that.
So interesting.
I am now a real expert in art provenance. So that's the working title of the book, is Provenance.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
And I just for all you writers out there, I just last week woke up in the middle of the night and knew how it ended. Yay!
Oh, that's always good.
That's good.
That's always
A
helpful.
little gift from the universe. So that I breathed a big sigh of relief about that.
Sure.
But it's so great to see all of you.
Yes.
This is fun.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you
so
for
happy
having
you're
us.
here. So thank you.
Yeah.
Sarah, I know we spoke with you a couple months ago, and I actually was in Maui this month, and I saw you. I was there. So tell us what you've been up to.
Okay, so I have been working on my dog's barking at whoever else's dog. Lucy, quiet. So I don't know how it happens, but my fourth book is coming out on July 27th, but it seems like every time I have a book release, that my deadline for the next book is right around the same day. So I'm kind of panicking, working on my fifth book while I'm also getting ready to release my fourth book, which is called Radar Girls. You see that? So this is the arc. It is it's about the Women's Air Raid Defense, which was set up here. It was a top secret group set up right after the attack on Pearl Harbor of women. And these women were in control of defending the islands from further attacks. So, and it's a real group of women. It was a really amazing story. As soon as I found out about it, I knew that I would have to write a novel about it. Really cool women. And like all my books, it's a little lighter hearted historical fiction, even though it's World War II. And so I'm very excited about that. And on deadline. So excited and nervous and just trying to write this book. This one is my pandemic book. So this one took twice as long as my other books to write, I would say, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. The first half I wrote before, and then the second half, it just dragged on. Usually I try to write 100 or 1,000 words a day, and this was like 200 if I was lucky.
Well, we can't wait to read it. It's a great cover, great title. And hopefully in July, maybe you can
Get back on the couch.
be like,
Yeah, I mean, I was so happy that I got to talk with you guys last summer, because also, like I said, I think being out here in Hawaii, you know, it's just so isolated. And so in a way that there was definitely that blessing for me of being able to do virtual events rather than just being trapped on an island.
Right. We loved talking to you. So
and come visit me next time.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Maybe we need to couch surf. Let's get couch surfing to Hawaii.
Your house, your street was
We'll just do
when I was
actual
there.
surfing.
Yeah.
We'll surf while we talk about the book.
Yeah, I was there when it was flooding and you were posting about flooding and I didn't want to bother you. I felt like everything was flooding and I was like, next time.
Yeah.
Your street, you posted a video of like your street flooding and I'm like, I'm not going to reach out. It's fine.
Right.
Anyway, so I hope everything's okay. Kimmery, hello.
Kimmery.
How are you?
Hey guys.
Tell us what's up. You've got a hot off the presses like book coming down the pike.
Yeah, my third one comes out in November. And for context, I am an ER doctor who writes medical fiction. So my first book was about a cardiologist, the Queen of Hearts. I just knocked over a giant sack of books. And my second one is for everything. And I want to tell you all about the third one because it's really ironic, but I just realized something also very ironic, I think. Donna, is it possible that you co-wrote a book on dating with my high school boyfriend?
Yeah.
His name is Jason King.
Oh my God, you're Kimmery. Yeah.
What? I saw your name and I was like, you wrote a book on dating with my
Oh my
my
God.
high school
I know,
boyfriend.
I know so much about you.
This is really awkward.
We need more information here. More information.
I
please.
loved
This
him.
took a turn
We dated
that
for
we-
5 years. I loved him. I still love him. He's a great guy.
I talked to him yesterday because I'm helping him with his like new book proposal, and he's gonna die when I tell him this.
He's gonna die.
Yeah, he's gonna die.
All right, we'll talk later.
Oh my gosh, we have to.
I'm not sure what you heard.
Can I just dibs that plot?
Yeah.
Plot I've never heard.
I'll
in
tell
my-
him how much your cover is amazing. Also, I was just thinking that, but oh my gosh, my brain's exploding. So I'll just go.
I think
quiet.
all of our brains are exploding right now.
We'll do a
Every single
follow-up.
one of
about
us is
this.
writing the book right now.
Yeah, we'll follow this up. Yeah, I've got a lot of questions for you, Donna. Really quickly, my third novel is also ironic, although maybe not as juicy as that just was. But in 2018, I had the idea that I was going to write about an infectious disease doctor in the middle of a brand new worldwide viral pandemic. So I spent the first part of 2019 interviewing about 40 people at the CDC, the WHO, the NIH. I read all these books on virology and infectious disease, and we were going to pitch the novel as The Hot Zone meets Sophie's Choice, because the main character, the infectious disease doctor who works at the CDC, has 2 children who become deathly ill during this new pandemic. And she has access to 1 dose of an experimental antiviral medication. She has to select which child is going to get it. So I had the first draft done when my second novel released, coincidentally, just at the same time that COVID released. So we had to decide whether to go forward with it, and if so, how to change it. And ultimately we decided to publish it, and it's coming out in November.
Can't
I
wait.
don't know if anyone wants to read that, but that's
Well,
where
it,
I am.
it
Oh,
sounds good. And-
Yeah.
But I'm thinking there needs to be somebody's I think the 3 of you, Hank, you could get 3 of you write a book on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people want to read it because I think ultimately it's a story not about a pandemic, but about someone who has to make an impossible choice.
Yeah.
And I think that will resonate with people.
Yeah, and I did change it so that it's now a multiple point of view story. All the secondary characters in the book who are also doctors, the plot sort of loosely revolves around this group of friends from medical school. And so you see a bunch of people on the front lines during a pandemic, an ER doctor and an OBGYN in San Diego. because I had to work San Diego in there somehow.
Of course.
And a doctor in Berea, Kentucky, where I grew up. And so there's a lot of perspectives in the book now.
Hank is asking a very good question, which is, what is the title?
Okay, I didn't pick the title. It is Doctors and Friends.
Oh, I like it.
And
I already knew. I'm acting surprised, but I already knew the title. I already knew it.
Yeah, yes, right. You guys did know. Yeah, if you want to see the cover, it's on Instagram now.
Yeah, Amy Myers.
Awesome.
She likes it. She's down in the corner over here. She likes it.
Thank you, Amy.
And so does Christina. And that's a nice segue because Christina, hello. Tell us what you've been up to, girl. I think you did something in in Temecula. Marie, was that you that did the?
Yeah, I had a writing conference or a writing retreat in Temecula. But then I ended up getting my vaccine and getting sick, and I didn't really get a lot done. But it's okay. I didn't listen to my husband chew for 2 weeks. So
I have that chewing problem too.
Oh my God, Liz has that problem.
We can offline about that later.
Oh, and my
husband has a chewing room where he has to go chew really.
My daughter still talks about how you were upset with her chewing when we went on that cruise in Europe. It still haunts her to this day.
Behind me.
Oh, Susie's got to go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Susie's got to go. Let's say goodbye to Susie.
Bye, Susie.
Bye, Susie. Nice
Congrats,
seeing you.
Susie.
Well, I'll go fast because I know people are finishing up. But so when I joined you guys, I was launching during the pandemic, my first book, The Second Home. And excitingly, this was just picked up. TriStar Television optioned it. And Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who is super hot. I call him
super hot.
Super hot. I showed him to Jason Gobble, the sales rep. Maybe you know him, but I sent him a picture of him and he said, "Oh, he's a tasty Danish." So
I'm going to need to look this guy up.
He's what's his name from Game of Thrones?
Jamie with one hand.
Jamie,
so we
call
it The Second
Home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So who knows?
Okay. The one-handed guy from Game of Thrones gets it for me. I love that. The poor guy. No one knows his actual name.
Yeah, and then my second book is coming out in July, another pandemic release. My publicist was like, "It's going to be all virtual for you girls, so just get used to it." So I'm getting ready for that. But this is my second book, Shoulder Season, and it's set in 1981 at this super weird Playboy resort that was also a family resort. It was a real place here in Wisconsin, and so I just had to write about this world, and also the strange standards these women had to meet of, being sexy and also being like the girl next door. So while wearing a bunny costume. So it was super fun to write.
Can't wait.
Yeah. And Julie, your store was the first bookstore I went into that was like a real active bookstore when I was visiting. So
love that. We love the picture because we still saw the picture. And Christina and I, we met by Kismet and Winter Institute. So lots of great connections. So can't wait for this.
I'm interrupting, but Kimberly Bell is in the waiting room.
Oh,
she just got here.
Oh, she made it. Yay.
Okay. There we go.
Everyone's so busy. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah. Next time you are down in that area, let us know. That's pretty close to us, that Temecula area.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Kimberly.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for being here.
Such a pleasure to talk to you. The real Hannah McKinnon, please stand up. Tell us what you're up to, girl.
Hi, girls. It's so good to see you again. It's been almost a year from last summer's release. I'm noticing my cheeks are super flushed. I just have to share that my 16-year-old daughter got her driver's permit this afternoon. So we were doing a lesson just before this started.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Have you started drinking yet?
To only be flushed is
there was no time, Julie. I need a drink.
Yeah.
We almost
Been
came
there, girl.
to my office through the short way. So, but anyway, we're all good. It's been a long COVID year, so it's really nice to see everybody's faces and hear what everybody's doing. So many exciting projects. I have a new book coming out. Message in the Sand comes out June 15th. So I have another summer release coming. And this one's a little different. I do a lot of destination summer beach reads. And this one takes place actually here in Connecticut, in the Lake region. And it's a slightly softer story. This one is about an Afghanistan war veteran, Wendell Combs, who works on a private family estate here in Connecticut. And based on some heartbreak from his past and some loss from his service, he just is seeking solace. He wants to be left alone. And I juxtaposed Wendell's very quiet, reserved 40-something-year-old male character with a 15-year-old girl, Julia Lancaster, who is the daughter of the estate owner. And she does not want to leave Wendell alone. Her parents are very active in the community. They're philanthropists. And one evening they're throwing their annual summer gala and tragedy strikes the family. And without giving away any spoilers, Julia and Wendell, who are two very unlikely people, have to come together over the course of the summer to find a way to preserve and hang on to this estate, White Pines, that they both are so drawn to and so attached to. So it's a love story. It's a love story of coming of age, love of people, love for a place, and really what makes up the fabric of family.
Well, I have
Sounds
to
great.
ask, because there's a 15, is there a scene where the driver's permit, they just got their driver's permit and Julia?
That's next year's book.
Does that trauma play into this?
I do draw from real life experience. It's funny you asked that because my daughter read this when the ARCs came out. She grabbed one, she stuck it in her backpack and took it to school. I didn't know it. And all of her friends call me Hannah. And they're like, oh, is that Hannah's new book? And she decided that this story is based on her and
Of course.
my boyfriend. So
They're both 15, so of course it's her.
it's, yeah, we live in her world. So her book comes out on June 15th.
Well, we're so happy you're here. Your book sounds really interesting. I'll definitely
Thank you.
can't wait to talk to you about it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Amy, hello. It's good to see you. I think last time we saw you, your baby was you like had a newborn, didn't you, when we were in it?
Yeah, he was born in October 2019. So he's just about a year and a half now. And I guess it was a year ago. So yeah, he was like 6 months old. So yes, I've exploited him a lot on social media. No. Yeah, I think I was one of the maybe early weeks of because it was definitely very early on in like full shutdown.
Yep. Emer was like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So what are you up to, girl?
Well, I just got the my second novel, The Imperfects, came out last May, and I was supposed to do my physical launch with Warwick's, so it's glad I got to end on the Gemological Institute of America. I was so excited about it, so I was glad that Stephen could come and we could do it online. So my paperback comes out in early May. I just got the sorry, the sun isn't a real. I used to have like paper up on my window, but I took it down when I stopped doing so many events. Can you? I
like.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can see it there. That's good.
Yeah.
Good
so yeah, they changed.
I like that cover.
I'm really obsessed that you can't see in the background, but there's diamond shapes, which goes with the novel because it is about the historic Florentine diamond. So the family in my novel discovers this diamond, which was part of the Austrian crown jewels, and in real life has been missing since 1918, and they find it in their grandmother's belongings. And so, Kara, I did a lot of research on provenance. So if you need any legal experts, I'm not one of them, but I talked to a bunch. I'm happy to help because it's the same law, just with jewelry instead of painting.
Surfing, bringing people together.
I know, I'm loving that.
It really is.
Expert.
From our couch to yours.
So happy you're here, Amy. Thank you for coming. Kimberly Bell, dropping in like it's hot. What's up, girl?
Yeah, right. Hi, thanks for having me. Sorry I'm late. I had another Zoom. So running from Zoom to Zoom.
Zoom to Zoom.
So I feel like I've been really busy, but I don't really have a book to plug. Stranger in the Lake came out last June, and then they moved me to December of this year for my next book. So My Darling Husband, and I don't even have a cover to show because there's not.
You can tell us what it's about. I've read it. It sounds really good. Give us just a brief synopsis.
It's a story about a home invasion. It's a woman who's coming home here in Atlanta, and she's got her 2 kids in the back seat, and they're arguing and fighting and whatever, and all the chaos of like getting the kids out of the car. She doesn't notice the man, like masked, gloves, the whole thing, in her garage. And he has a gun and he forces his way into her home and demands ransom of her husband. So it's my pandemic book that had nothing to do with the pandemic. I wrote it like, during shutdown, and it was the fastest I've ever written a book. It just kind of flew out of me. And I think it's because I had nowhere to go and nothing to do, but also because like, it was one of those stories that's so high adrenaline that it just, it was really, I don't want to say easy to write, because a book is never easy to write, but it was one of the ones that gave me the least amount of trouble. Let's say that.
Sounds really good.
We can't wait for that.
Yeah, you do that kind of fiction really well too, like the heart pounding thrillers. So that'll be exciting. Well, thanks for joining us. Yeah. And last but not least, Lisa, what are we up to?
What are you guys up to? I was gonna ask you guys.
Yeah.
So tell Lisa, you guys got to tell us.
Think about what we're doing.
Well, we've had a pretty interesting year where we have a new agent, and we are currently shopping. Well, we shopped a book that didn't sell. And so now we've just written another one that's going out on proposal. So our new agent is really excited about it, and so are we. So hopefully this will be the thing, but it's been really weird for the first time in 8 years, right, Liz? We haven't had a book coming out. So it's been actually really good to just kind of step back and watch publishing and see it from maybe a better perspective. We just feel like we have just a much better outlook on things. But yeah, there's a little dip there in the road, not gonna lie, but it can't always be.
But good things will come for you guys. They will. I've got full confidence in that, because you both are, and it is a strange year. It's a strange year of publishing. there's all kinds of factors that go into it, but I've got full confidence in you too.
Oh, well, thanks, Julie.
Absolutely.
Really
about the proposal going out, and so are we. So
and
I think it's good. And we've talked about this before, and I'm sure all of you can relate. And it's kind of good to have those ups and downs, because I think it does make you kind of reevaluate things and what's important and what's working and what's not. And sometimes you have to take it down to the studs to get there. And we were down in the studs.
We sure did that. All the studs came off. Nothing. Yep.
It's a remodel.
Now we're building back from scratch. Let's have a blueprint this point.
Well,
I did a whole TED talk about this exact thing that you're going through, Liz and Lisa, which was about how.
Of course you did, Hank.
No, please. But it's so interesting to hear you work through this, because you never know what wonderful thing is going to happen out of something that you think is the big disappointment. And I can picture you in some amount of time saying to each other, wow, if that hadn't happened, this would never have happened. This wonderful thing would never have happened without the thing you thought was the bad thing, which really turns out to be the good thing. And doesn't it happen every time? It happens every time.
Yeah, we're already saying that I think that as much as we loved our other agent, the agent change is a much better fit for us. And so that has changed everything. So we're excited. I think that needed to happen. I think sometimes when you get an autopilot, you have a book coming out every year, and that's all you're thinking about. And I think that we needed to take a step back to kind of figure that all out. So
yeah, because what we've written now is completely different than anything, but probably the most like what we want to be writing, if that makes any sense. So
that's great. And you might not have recognized that, and that's to
right.
This point.
So the book we wrote over COVID was good, but there were a lot of reasons why it probably didn't sell, like you said, Julie, the timing and just a number of things. You're writing a book during COVID. Is it going to be the best thing? Maybe for some, maybe, for others, maybe no. So, yeah.
So I can't believe all you ladies took the time to spend with us. This is so awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. You guys took so much time out of your busy schedules, and we appreciate every single one of you. And Julie, we really appreciate you, and we're so
Yes, we do.
we're so excited. I'm actually going to go into Warwick's next week. I want to go shop there. I haven't been in there in a long time, but I'm going to drive to La Jolla and take my ass in there next week.
I love it. There's lots of good books. There's some ladies here that have.
Oh yeah.
There's ladies on the screen. There's lots of good books there.
Well, we should go, Liz, you should go in on Saturday because that's.
Oh yeah, independent books. Well, you may or may not want to
Bookstore
come in on
day.
Saturday. It might be a little crowded.
Oh, okay, fine.
I want to avoid Saturday.
Thank you
but that
guys
depends.
so much. Julie, you want to take us out?
I'm going to take you out. So everybody who's watching us, if you're rewatching this on some kind of, I don't know what, either it'll be on Facebook or YouTube or wherever we put this. Couch surfing has been wonderful. We're going to continue. We've got couch surfing booked up until I think July. So we're still going to bring you some wonderful authors. We love lifting all of your voices up. We love all of you. Your work is, like I said at the top of the hour, you all have brought us a lot of just relief, and to be able to read your books this year was wonderful. So I can't wait for what's coming next. So thank you all again for taking the time to be here. Liz and Lisa, couldn't do this without you. So
thank you.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Good
Bye.
night.